Kylian Mbappe!
You know when you watch like a really good magic trick, you're just so focused on the grand finale that you completely miss the trapdoor hidden right in plain sight?
Right, because you're looking exactly where they want you to look.
Exactly. Welcome to today's deep dive cast of France's 2-0 World Cup quarterfinal victory over Morocco. And honestly, it is a total masterclass in misdirection.
Oh, absolutely.
Our mission today is to, strip away that surface narrative of a comfortable 2-0 win and actually decode the underlying tactics. We want to figure out how tournament survival really works and where international soccer is heading. I mean, you saw France in those Statue of Liberty green away kits getting the win, but the actual mechanics demand a way closer look.
Yeah, because the surface level story just doesn't match the reality on the pitch. It's one of those games that requires us to look past the final score to see the tactical gears turning underneath.
So let's look at that trapdoor. The broadcast highlighted this stat that just seems entirely disconnected from the final score. Morocco actually had 52% possession.
Which sounds impressive on paper.
Right. But having the majority of the ball and only managing one shot in the first half, it's like holding the steering wheel of a parked car.
That is a great way to put it.
You have the tools, but you're not going anywhere. I just don't get how a team dominates the ball but exerts zero control over the game.
Well, it really comes down to where France allowed them to have the ball.
Right.
I mean, Upamecano and Saliba didn't just passively defend.
They were actively setting traps.
Exactly. They actively neutralized Morocco's early press. Instead of panicking under pressure, those two center backs used these precise vertical passes to just completely bypass Morocco's forward line.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and once France broke that initial press, Morocco really had no choice but to drop deep to protect themselves from getting shredded on the counter.
So the possession stat is essentially a mirage. Morocco had the ball in harmless areas because France's backline dictated the entire geography of the pitch?
Right, and that forced retreat exposed Morocco's biggest vulnerability, which was their squad depth.
Because they had so many injuries.
Exactly. That is the brutal reality of tournament football. I mean, France can swap out one injured Champions League starter for another without missing a single beat.
Just reloading.
Yeah. But Morocco suffered massive drop-offs. The moment their starting tactical foundation cracked against a team that manipulates space, they just couldn't recover because the replacements couldn't execute the same high-wire defensive plan.
And that gap in depth becomes glaring when you look at Kylian Mbappe. I mean, his performance was just brilliant chaos.
Truly chaos.
Like missing a penalty and then instantly bouncing back to score. But the ESPN broadcast pointed out something that really contradicts that lazy narrative that he just coasts on generational talent.
Oh, you mean his defensive work rate?
Yeah. He was putting in a massive defensive shift, tracking back significantly more than he does for Real Madrid.
Well, he is on a pure mission right now. He knows the last World Cup slipped away, and that intense work rate proves he's operating on a completely different frequency to ensure he gets his second title.
Wait, but that intensity isn't isolated just to him, is it?
No, not at all. It's echoing throughout the entire squad.
The collective buy-in is palpable, and it seems tied directly to Didier Deschamps stepping down after this tournament.
Right. The tactical harmony we're seeing is totally fueled by a desire to send Deschamps out on a high note.
Because the shadow of Zinedine Zidane supposedly taking over next is looming pretty large over the locker room.
Exactly. The players are rallying around Deschamps' final bow, and it's translating into such flawless execution that Frank Leboeuf openly questioned on the broadcast if this might be the best French team ever assembled.
Wait, best ever? That is a super heavy label.
It is, but they look incredible.
But while France is peaking, the fallout for the losing side changes the entire landscape of their home continent. When you zoom out, Morocco's exit isn't just the end of their tournament, it reframes the future of African soccer.
Yeah, Colin brought this up on the broadcast, and the numbers really back it up. Even in defeat, this World Cup was a monumental success for AFCON.
Right.
90% of the African teams reached the round of 32.
Wait, 90%? That is massive. That completely redefines the floor for those nations. How does Morocco's run frame the bigger picture for you, the listener, and for the continent?
Well, Morocco didn't just participate, right?
Yeah.
They set a new standard.
Well,
Rivals like Nigeria, Cameroon, and Ghana are now looking at that run.
they want to match it.
Exactly. The historical pattern in African football is that when one nation breaks a barrier, the rest elevate their infrastructure and tactics to match it. That 2027 AFCON is going to be hyper-competitive because the benchmark has moved.
So you really have two distinct legacies being forged here. France is operating with this ruthless mechanical efficiency, looking seemingly unbeatable.
Yeah.
While Morocco, despite the loss, leaves a legacy that elevates an entire continent. They proved what the new reality looks like,
They created a structural roadmap for others to follow.
which leaves you with an interesting thought to chew on. When a dominant force sets a seemingly impossible new standard, whether it's this French squad's tactical execution or Morocco redefining a continent's potential, it rarely discourages the competition.
Right? It actually does the opposite.
Exactly. It creates a new blueprint. So look at your own career or your own industry. What unbeatable standard out there is actually just a blueprint waiting for you to decode it.